Secretary, do we have a quorum?
You do?
Thank you. I'd like everybody, if you can, to please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. If you can't, just do the best you can, guys. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please stay standing for a moment of silence. Okay, thank you. Okay, you have been, if you're a member, you should have received a copy of the Secretary's report and the Treasurer's report. Yep. Anybody that hasn't gotten a copy of it, raise your hand if we'll get you one. You didn't?
No.
The Treasurer's report you didn't get?
No.
Okay.
No, I got that.
Oh, the Secretary's? Okay, now you have it. Okay, if you look those over real quick, or if you had a chance to, start with the Secretary's report. If there are any. Oh, thanks, Roy. Roll call. I forgot that. Got it marked down. My mind's going. Okay. Okay, we roll call real quick. Ralph, WA3YFQ.
Steve, KI4LVH.
Maureen, KB2QNK.
Frank, KB5FD.
Robert, K4WCV.
Chris, AA4CD.
Jerry, AE4OB.
Chris, KC3CJU.
Francis, AC3CJW.
Ron, CAN4IJS.
Nicholas, Kilo, Echo 4 Kilo Echo.
Roy, KN4R.
Herman, KI6YLA.
John and Mike, N2KNW.
Brad, KM4NWD. Ray, KD4PD.
Barry, N2NBP.
Jeff, W2JL.
Okay, thank you. Now, back to what I was saying. Give everybody a little bit of chance to look at the Secretary's report. If there are no objections or corrections to that report, we'll entertain a motion to accept.
I make a motion to accept the report.
I'll second it.
Made by Chris, KC3CJU, and for purposes of just keeping things straight so there's no question of impropriety, we'll say seconded by Steve, KI4LVH. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Point of order. I want to clarify, are we talking about the minutes from May that were emailed also?
Yes.
We never approved them, so I want
Yes.
to make sure that that's what the makers were.
Yes, that's for everything. I'm sorry. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Next, for the Treasurer's report, you were each given a copy of the profit and loss and the whatever you want to call the other one. Balance sheet. Thank you. I hate this medicine. There are no objections or questions or corrections. Yes, Barry.
How much money we got in the bank? I don't understand it.
Maureen.
On the balance sheet, it says current assets, grow financial checking account, $2,049.02.
We have checks left, so we must have money.
Exactly.
Print some more.
In fact,
The way things go.
Yeah.
We just did print more.
We
Well,
got
yeah.
lots of money then.
Exactly. So if there's no other questions
Do you
or
see it?
see it, Barry?
Thank you.
No other questions or objections, we will indicate or we will entertain a motion to accept.
So move.
Made by Jerry,
Jerry, AE4OB.
second by Ron.
CAN4IJS.
KM4.
IJS.
Thank you.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So carried. Okay, real quick through the committees.
Before we go any further,
Yes,
next month's electric bill is going to be a shocker.
well, because we had field day and a couple other things going on, so I understand that, Maureen. That's just,
I just wanted to give you fair warning.
I understand. I've got all my heart medications that are current, so. There's nothing we can do because we have activities here and we have
Sure
to,
you don't run out of that.
yeah. We have to make it somewhat livable for those of us that are trying to do things here. Okay, real quick through the committees, the House and Trailer Committee, really things haven't changed. When the weather does cool down, we do have a battery out there. I'd like to try and find somewhere a good battery trickle charger conditioner that we can mount in there, but I'd like to get that new battery mounted into the comms trailer so we can use the battery if necessary, but we still have the capabilities there with the generator, the club's generator, so we are ready to go in a case of emergency. We just have to come in here and grab the radios. And those of you that aren't aware of what's going on while we keep the radios here and not out there, is we lost some computers and one or two of the older radios because of the heat from the sun. So instead of the stuff being out there and being in 150, 160 degree temperatures in that fiberglass can and cooking it, we're keeping them in here, but they're just ready to grab and go. We can have that on the road within 10 or 15 minutes if necessary.
Did you say you need a trickle charger?
The one we have in there it's supposed to be a charger and conditioner of some kind or something to keep it up to snuff. However, it apparently doesn't. It cooked the batteries
Is this
that
a
we had.
12 volt?
Yes. And all we would need is something that we can put on there to just keep the batteries. Or if we even remember to come up here and A, check the water once a month or once every few weeks, and B, throw them on to charge to make sure they're charged up. It really shouldn't be that much, but that's really all we would need out there. But when the weather cools down some, I'd like to have a work detail to work on putting that battery in, and if we can find a beg, borrow, or call.
Just, now, bear with me, but all you need is a simple trickle charger for a 12 volt battery.
That's it.
I can provide that.
Okay, thank you, Jerry. It's greatly appreciated, believe me. And hopefully by the,
What we're going to need, based on what you said, because some of the older ones would just keep on going. We need to have one of the ones that detects when the battery's
Okay,
done.
I'm not sure about that.
So we would take a look at what you got.
Yeah, I'll do that. Right.
okay.
Yeah, I know what you
Yeah,
mean.
that's what we would prefer. I mean, we'll take what we can get, and if we could just charge them up and somebody remembers to come and pull the plug
Yeah.
so it doesn't cook them, because that's what happened with the last ones,
Yeah.
is it kept charging, it boiled the water out and cooked two of the cells that, so. Want to say anything about field day, Chris, other than the fact that it's on the, in the newsletter? If everybody wants to go onto the website, remembers to go onto the website once a month and look at our newsletter. Roy will have to print one out for you because we'll see that you get a copy.
We'll put you on the subscription list.
Yeah.
You'll be our first mail subscriber.
Okay, as far as the picnic goes, my wife, and keep this in mind, has agreed to chair the picnic committee. She's asking for help for any of the wives, girlfriends, older daughters that would like to help with the picnic. We're going to put a thing on the website for listing what items we want to bring for a covered dish. The club is going to take care of providing the hamburgers, hot dogs, meat, that kind of stuff for it. But we have reserved Pavilion 1 at Cruise Lake Park for Saturday, September 15th. And we're figuring put it on there, we'll eat around 1 o'clock. So, I mean, we have it for the whole day. I'm probably going to end up getting there if the creek don't rise and the moon's right, the drugs are working good, 9 or 10 o'clock in the morning, and help get things going. But we'll need things like charcoal, charcoal fluid, that kind of stuff. Hopefully we won't be in a drought by then and run into what we had to do the last time, was take our generator and use electric skillets, but that worked out good. But I mean, she's got some games that she's going to set up, but if any of the wives or girlfriends would like to help out and help her organize this, if you want to write it down or not, it's on the website under our club picnic. Or not in, I think it's under the club picnic, okay, and it's also in the newsletter. But her email address is bev6886@yahoo.com.
She's got an email address now. Beverly@GulfCoastAOC.org.
Okay.
A little bit easier to remember.
You can use either one of those, but she's looking for anybody who is willing to help, and all that she'll take, and it doesn't have to be one of the wives or girlfriends. Anybody that wants to chip in and help make this hopefully a better success. The last couple of picnics we had 8, 9, 10 people show up. I'd like to get a few more people than that.
Is this the same?
Pavilion we had
Same
now.
part as-
Right. Now, we won't have the train running that day, but that's no biggie, because any Saturday that the train's running, you can't book in. I mean, it's impossible. So, okay, if anybody have any questions on that? Okay, next would say Jeff for VE testing, but if you want to just,
Well, our next session will be on August the 1st, right here in the clubhouse, Wednesday, first Wednesday every month at 6:30 in the evening. We'll be using the new technician class exam that took effect on July 1. So if anybody is studying, be sure you're studying the correct question. And I also have our Hamfest session in, is that September or October? Whatever our Hamfest is, it's listed in on the ARRL website.
and if I remember correctly, it is in October.
It's listed not just at the Hamfest, but in the VE site.
Right. And it's also listed on the
27th.
sections website. The 22nd of October?
No, 27th.
27th of October.
Saturday.
No, I thought it was October 15th. Oh, the Hamfest. I was thinking about the picnic. Never mind.
Well, actually,
It's the drugs again. Yeah, I'll go back to sleep. Thanks. Okay, that being said, thank you for all the good work you've been doing on taking care of the VE testing, Jeff. Appreciate it. Anything under old business? Okay, I have one thing under new business that I would like to bring up. I know we usually don't do this until the September meeting for starting an elections committee. However, we have quite a few offices that are going to need to have candidates for and offices to be filled, because the only officers that are not going to be voted on this year are the secretary's position, Roy's position on the board, and Chris' position on the board. I think yours has to be voted on too, doesn't it, Chris?
Yeah, board
Yeah.
member.
Just to throw those three positions. Now, I would like to put Frank and Chris, KC3CJU, on the elections committee. Roy, do you want to give them a hand with that, or would you rather not? Okay. Now, I would like to have a third person on there, if any member of the people sitting out their membership. Jared, thank you. 84OB will be the third member of that, because you have my position, the president's position. I know it's in our bylaws that it is taken over for the remainder of the person's position. However, the state corporate rules for corporations, the law for corporations says it can only be filled until the next general election. So that's 1 year position. I would have to run again for a 1 year term, and then we can get back into the cycle. But Steve was filling out my position as vice president, and Maureen was filling out the treasurer's position for the rest of the year. So those three definitely, and the past president stays the same, and there's only one board member we have to fill. Yeah.
Did we or did we not have a vote that you would be president?
No, it's automatic. It's in the bylaws.
I know it's automatic, but I thought we had a vote also.
No,
You don't have to.
don't have to. The position is automatic. Guess what?
Are the bylaws online, or are they accessible, or?
We can get you a copy of it. We haven't put them online yet, but I think that's a good idea if we could get them online on our
I was
website.
just curious to see what.
We will get them on our website. But, unfortunately, we're going to have to do some tweaking with the bylaws, and we're going to work on that next year after we get through all this stuff to make them compliant with the state rules and regulations
We
for
learned
corporations.
quite a bit when we were doing the C3 application, and, it was one of those things, we didn't know what we didn't know. Now we know, so now it's,
Right.
okay, fine.
But we're going to, even though it's slightly off a little bit with trying to do what the bylaws say, I still want to overstep the bylaws and do it what the corporate laws call for. That way they can come back and say, oh no, this isn't right. And next year we will get a committee and have the bylaws tweaked so they conform with the state laws. So I'll let you guys decide when you're going to get together and meet, and how you're going to contact potential candidates for the offices. So, does anybody have anything else under new business? Okay, nothing there. Good of the order. Any questions, comments? Telling me to go fly a kite, or whichever you think. Okay.
I thought you were already flying for the truck.
Well, that'd give me another 10 minutes. They're starting to kick in, believe me.
I switched to Irish whiskey personally.
I know, but that doesn't, well, yeah, it does, but not long enough, so. Believe me, I prefer Scotch.
Single malt, okay.
Rum punch is really good.
Oh, please.
Particularly by the pitcher.
Okay, if nobody has anything else under the good of the order, yes?
Yeah, just, I'm kind of getting back into the cycle,
Okay.
Putting it on my calendar, really, the old paper wall one, that really helps. And this Rat River run, that's kind of like where there's like certain positions on a run.
Yeah, Barry can explain a little bit better about that.
I mean, okay, that's the concept, right?
All right, basically, I try to get as many people as I can for the event. And what it is I'll look at the map, see where I'm needed. I'll put people in certain areas where I know they're needed.
Okay, I don't know, are there any more upcoming? Can I get into that?
We got the next one coming up, it's the Cody Man Triathlon. And I do not remember the date on that, but...
Can I get on the loop on that? Because I'd like to,
Yeah.
practice helps, you know what I mean?
Yeah, besides that, it gives you experience for areas.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Right, so
I'm interested in those.
But yeah, I'll be making an announcement when I'll be needing people for that.
Okay, what date is that?
I don't remember.
No,
what
no,
day.
no.
What month they usually have that?
I can't remember.
Okay. It's,
Their website still shows November of 2017.
There you go.
They
It'll probably be in
haven't,
November.
so they haven't updated, but I would assume
yeah,
it'll be in
usually
November.
they have it when they try to have it, excuse me, in the cooler weather, not colder, yeah, being up north, guys.
Yeah.
The cooler weather. So that's why I tried to stay away from November and the holidays for our picnic. That's why I made it October. Or September, I mean, and October with the Ham Fest. Okay, anything else?
Anything?
Chris?
Yeah, just want to go through a little reminder. We are on the internet. We have a club website. We're on Facebook. We got a Facebook account. Subscribe, WA4GDN. Punch that up. It will come right up. Click join, monitor, bookmark. Same thing on Twitter. We're on Twitter. We're on YouTube. This video will be on YouTube. We'll be cross-linked all over the place. I try to share any club information, anything going on in West Central Florida, and whatnot. We've got email. You know, we have an email reflector, meaning subscribe to it. Is the shuttlecraft coming back?
Yeah.
Well, time to beam me up?
Yeah.
Okay. The Yahoo email reflector, it's a good place to post your thoughts. Need anything, it goes out to everybody who's subscribed to it.
Okay.
You will find that listed on Facebook, Twitter, and the club website, how to get onto it. All the information's out there. I do flyers. I let everybody know what's going on, who we have for presentations coming up. If you guys have any questions or want to suggest anything, what are you into? You in the CW, you in the FM, you in the old time AM? You know, we'll talk to you. We'll get someone in here to.
I'm revisiting my vocabulary on this.
Okay, a little training class. You know, I try to share all the information, upgrades, other VE test sessions, anything that's going on in the local area.
Good hour for me, like to get.
Are you
back
the
up.
webmaster?
Yes,
Okay, I didn't know that. I thought it was
I've been
the-
called many names,
Yeah, that's
and
close to
I'll
one.
take that name as
Okay.
well.
Yeah, that's
It's on the hat somewhere.
That's safe.
But not much activity on there, but I do try to keep everyone updated on who's doing what's going where. It's social media.
And he's
Everybody's
doing
on it.
Excellent job at
You'll
taking
find
care of
the
all.
messages about the upcoming picnic. You'll find messages about who did what where and how field day was, results, pictures of the activities going around here, ham radio and not ham radio related. So it's not just lock it down to just the club and the same 20 people. Subscribe, get in there, be involved, ask questions, email it if you don't want to bring it to the meeting. This is one of the ways, this thing, I have 3 people that are hams right now watching. That's just right now. I'm sure we will have more as time goes by, and I cross-post the hell out of the video, the different areas, but everybody will get a link. They'll see that the July meeting is online. They couldn't make it for whatever reason. I feel this is one of the better ways to keep people involved. What's going on? What's Ralph doing?
Well, refresher course for me because I'm kind
Yeah.
of new in the area. That's what I
Well,
would.
New
call
and
it.
nearly. We'd like to see new faces. We'd like to see what's going on.
On that note, and I brushed over it real quick, just trying to get to our speaker, but getting back into this, or getting into this, if you keep refresher, you keep in mind that Tuesday nights at 7:30 on our repeater, 146.67, we have our club net, Traders Net. But on Wednesdays at 7:30, we have our Aries Net, the countywide Aries Net. And at 8 o'clock, we have the Skywarn Net for Pasco County. And if you listen to the information there, it will lead you to other websites that you can get a lot more information from. Those are excellent ways to get back in it. Also, it's good practice being with the nets for the different events that we're going to have. Plus, in case we do have emergencies like last year, we had a little party we had called Irma. So.
That was a fun time, too.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, there was.
And so, just keep that in mind. And I do try to open up the club. I was doing it every other Saturday, but I've had people that have asked me to explain some of the digital stuff. So I made it a point for like the next couple of months. I'm going to try and get up here every Saturday, at least from around 11 o'clock on, except for the first Saturday of August. Because the first Saturday of August is our Aries meeting. It will be at the EOC here in Newport Richey at 11 o'clock on Saturday morning. If you're interested, just want to come and see what that is. But I try to get up here around 10 or 11 o'clock in the mornings, except that day probably won't be until 1 or 2 o'clock that I get up here from the Aries meeting. But we come up here, try to answer questions, try to have demos, or just want to sit around and BS or hang out, whatever.
The Aries meeting's at August 1st?
August 4th,
4th.
first Saturday.
Okay.
I know, that's unfortunately,
I'm going out of town.
well,
I'll be back.
keep it in mind as we have a meeting every month, so. Okay, anything else other good in the order? Yes, Frank?
According to the Newport Ritchie Main Street website, the triathlon is November 10th. So,
Okay, thank you, Frank. Write that down, Barry.
Yeah.
Okay. So, anything else? If nothing else other good in the order? Then I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
We went over that.
Cleveland.
Just one question. Did we go over how net we're going?
I've skipped over that real quick, but everything's going pretty good. I just need some more net control operators, but we'll keep working on that. Okay, we have a motion to adjourn by Ron. Need a second? Mom? Okay, Francis second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Now I'd like to turn the meeting over to Chris, who can introduce our speaker.
Okay. Hello. Hello. Today we have Robert, K4WZV from Brooksville, come down to show us the world of hotspots. Digital communications hotspots. I'm not going to say much more about it. I'm going to give the microphone to Robert, and he can bring his toys over and do what he does.
Okay. First of all, good evening, everybody. Thank you for having me as a guest speaker tonight. My name's Robert. I live in Brooksville, Florida. You all don't know where that is. It's about 40 miles north of here, 35, 40 miles north of here. I got into amateur radio soon after I got out of the Navy. I'm a Navy veteran. In the 80s, kind of got in and out of it. An HF, local repeater thing, you know, the HF, UHF stuff. And then I kind of got out of it as things happened. We moved down here to Florida about 13 years ago. Got back in it, playing around on repeaters and stuff like that. I do HF stuff, all that. The digital modes. I don't do CW, so don't get mad at me. But I play around with a lot of hotspot stuff. There's a lot of digital modes out there. Just in the last 3 years, guys, there's been a whole new generation of amateur radio that has been born with these digital hotspots. And when I'm talking, if you've never seen a hotspot, there's all kinds of. This is one of the first ones that came out. On the top, it's called a DB4 Mini. Came out about 3 years ago. Wireless Holdings here in Florida is the one that makes this thing. And what this does is give you internet access to communicate to other stations. Of course, using the internet, and you need a radio too. You know, this is a little transceiver, little tiny transceiver. And it receives and transmits. It's only about 10 milliwatts. Okay, so you got to be close range and stuff. But you can have, I have several HDs here. Here's one. One of the most prevalent modes that are used is DMR. Has everybody heard of DMR? Digital mobile radio before? Okay, this is the most common radio. It's an MD380. It's used a lot. And I think the explosion of digital mainly began because everybody knows the HF bands have been in pitiful shape, right? Okay, they're up and down. So I think a lot of amateurs were looking to do a different thing, right? So there's been over 100,000 DMR numbers issued in the last 3 years. 100,000. That's a lot of users, guys. It is a very busy network. There are several networks that you can get on. Brandmeister is one of the biggest networks. There's the DMR Plus network. And basically you can communicate with hams. Of course you got to use the internet. A lot of people say, well, that's not really a ham radio. But it is. You're dealing with little transceivers here. And I got into it because it's more the experimentation of it too. You know, you learn different stuff like with Linux, you know, code. There's a lot of little adjustments, little Raspberry Pis. Does anybody play with Raspberry Pis? Little Raspberry Pis? Yeah, they're little computers. That little Raspberry Pi and that box you can get on the internet. You can surf the internet just like you can with your laptop. It's Wi-Fi capable. I mean, you can do everything with that. But anyway, DMR is probably the most popular mode. D-Star, have you guys heard of D-Star? C4FM.
Okay, now you're talking.
No, I mean, there's all kinds of digital modes. There's NXDN that's popular now, P25. These are just different digital modes that are used in the ham radio world now. And there's a lot of people doing it. There's different radios to do it, and it's just become very popular. So, let's see, where was I going to go? There's even stuff like this out here now. This is called a DB4 Home. It's even got a microphone. Look at this. Get the microphone out of here. Looks like a little mobile radio, right? That's actually an internet radio. It plugs right into the internet, DB4 Home, and it does some of the different digital modes. So you can get right on the internet with that. And for example, the Brandmeister system, like I was saying, is the biggest system there is. There's thousands and thousands of what they call talk groups. Some of you guys have Wires X, and you do Wires X here. Okay, well, they got different talk groups on DMR, different talk groups on NXDN, and there's all kinds of talk groups. There's regional talk groups, local talk groups, there's talk groups for chatting, talk groups to talk about radios, talk groups to talk about HS, you know, so there's something for everybody. So, yeah, that's one of the things. Now, I got into it big time. I started out with D-Star, then I got into Fusion, then NXDN, then P25, and I just really enjoy it. I got some stuff there if you guys want to check out later. Be more than happy to answer questions and all that. But there's you know, talk groups everywhere. And what's nice about this is a lot of people are incorporating these into repeaters now. Okay, so it's nice to be able to take this anywhere in the world and talk to your repeater back home. Talk through your repeater, and of course using the internet. So there's a lot of interconnectivity going on, you know, between the different modes. It's just in 3 years it's expanded. It's just incredible. You can't keep up with the expansion. I mean, every day something else comes out, a new little toy comes out, and all that. So I consider myself pretty knowledgeable on all this stuff, but there's a lot of people out there who know more than me about it. I learn stuff every day. I mean, it just keeps going and going. But I run a group, it's called the TGIF group. It's on the Brandmeister system, and we have everything bridged over. So you can talk on a DMR radio to somebody on a P25 radio. You can talk to somebody on a C4FM radio. You can talk to somebody on a Fusion radio. You can be on any one of those radios as long as you have a hotspot. You can talk, you know, bridged. They're bridged over. So it's really neat, the technology and stuff. Keeps me busy. I'm disabled, so I can't work, so I got to do something, right? I can't sit at home and play Facebook all day or I'll go crazy. So, I mean, this stuff's just really kept me going. So, let's see, what did I cover? There's battery packs that you can get with these things if you want to go portable. This is one of the most common hotspots. Bring it all over here. That way it's easier to show everybody. Okay. These are some of the hotspots. This is called a shark open spot. That's one of the most common ones. Matter of fact, they don't sell this anymore. They're going to come out with a new model pretty soon. But this is not Wi-Fi capable, but the one that they're going to come out with probably will. But it does C4FM, D-Star, DMR. It does not do P25 or NXDN. Maybe the new model will. But if you have a hotspot that doesn't have Wi-Fi, you can get this little thing. It's called a TP-Link. It's interconnectivity. You can link to any Wi-Fi. Mine right now is linked over to my cell phone. So a lot of smartphones have hotspots, connectivity. So you can link to that. And as long as you have a connection, you can talk to anybody in the world. And it comes in real good. Like I'll give you a little demonstration. Let me see if anybody's out here on DMR so you can hear the sound quality. This K4W, hear that?
The same thing in my house.
Yeah. You know what that is? That DMR transmits in pulses. Okay, so it's not a solid carrier. So you're hearing that. You're hearing the pulses that go out. DMR is the only one that does that. The other signals are solid carriers. Let's see if anybody's out here. K4WZV doing a demonstration at the Gulf Coast Amateur Radio Club. Anybody copy for a demonstration? This is my talker here. It should be.
Yeah, Robert, I copy you, but you're very distorted. You might need to back away from the radio because you got a lot of packet dropouts. Maybe QPQS.
Okay, might be getting some distortion because I got a bunch of hot spots here sitting here. But thanks for coming back to me, Mike. I'm just showing everybody DMR. And that's DMR. I mean, see how nice and clear that sounds? It's amazing. It really is. But that's just one of the modes.
Robert, when you start your hotspot, you count to sync. Your voice is coming over distorted and twice as fast. Codecs are all messed up.
Always when you want to show it. It
Usually
works
it's better
perfect
than
for
this, guys, I
years.
promise you.
I swear to God, we're gonna have a exorcism.
Okay, is this any better, guys? Is this any better? Over.
Nope, you're still doing it.
You must be getting some interference from
For
this.
some reason, you're coming through at double speed.
Okay. All right, we must be getting some kind of interference from somewhere. Not sure. Might be this microphone. Hang on. Let me see. Okay, how do I sound now? Can you hear me now okay? Yeah, there's some interference.
Mod from the individual units.
Yeah, that's possible.
All right, so what's that in your hand?
Yeah, this right here is another little DMR radio. It's called a high tier. A high tier makes, really nice equipment. But this is a DMR radio here. It's a UHF DMR radio. And let me find out why, because usually it's just crystal clear. Let me unplug that one. And where's my cell phone? Aha. I bet you this is it. This device, because I'm going through my cell phone here, I bet you this fixes it. All right, how does this sound now? I had my cell phone over by the DV4 Home 2. How do I sound now?
Robert, you sound good over here at the AM0MM. I'm on the Canadian server. Over.
Okay, that's what it was. This is my Wi-Fi connection here, and that internet device must have been interfering with it. All part of the reason I love this stuff, troubleshooting, helping to figure stuff out and stuff. But all right, thank you, I appreciate it. I'm just giving a demonstration on DMR. And what's your location? It doesn't matter who you talk to. Anywhere in the world, they're going to come over this good. It can be in China. That's what's so cool about it.
You're talking to AM0AM. I'm in Dublin, Kansas. Over.
Yeah. Yeah, copy on Kansas. Appreciate it there. Gene, KC9MEC, where are you located at? I doubled with him. But that happens on every. You can double us with it. Okay, Gene, KC9MEC, go ahead, sir. Where are you located at?
I only heard half of it, Robert, and you're still at double speed. It's like you're going 2 times faster.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I must be getting some interference somewhere. But okay, they got the idea. Thank you, Gene. Yeah, it usually works. I must be getting some interference.
It's not faster, it's breaking up every few words.
Okay, I don't know. I don't know why it's breaking up. It might be my cell connection or something. I'm not sure. But, well, no, because I'd have to connect it with the hotspot. You got to type in passwords and all that.
Robert.
Okay, I doubled with somebody. Say that again. Here.
And I can hear you perfectly now.
Okay, maybe there's a network issue or something. That's possible. That happens. All right, thank you, Alec. K4WZV clear. Okay, that can happen, guys. Unfortunately, you know, it's like bad conditions. You can have bad internet conditions. Oh, there we go. That's Mitch. He's a friend of mine. He's in Nurha, Spain. Okay. All right, Mitch, I appreciate it. Yeah, not sure. I think Brandmeister's having trouble between servers. Come back and say hello to the Gulf Coast Amateur Radio Club so they can listen to you.
Yeah, Gulf Coast Amateur Radio Club. Well, the name here is Mitch. Mike India Tango Charlie Hotel, and I'm over here in the country of Spain in a village called Nurha. So I'll turn it back to Robert. You guys enjoy, and glad you get my demo on that DMR, that EA7KDO. Clear. Go ahead, Robert.
Roger, Roger. Thanks, Mitch, for coming back to the call. Appreciate it. K4WZV. All right, guys, there you got a good demonstration of DMR. I like DMR. It's one of the better modes, I think. Chris won't agree with me. He likes C4FM better. They all sound good in their own ways. NXDN, P25, everything, you know, has its pros and cons. Okay, some the modes are going to have a little better high fidelity. Some are going to have more bass and lows in them. It just depends. So it's all preference, you know. But they're all going to be clear like that. I mean, it's just crystal clear. They're digital packets that are sent out. There's what's in all digital radios is a little chip. It's called an AMBI 3000 chip, and it's been around and used in a lot of applications, digital applications, not just radios. And that takes analog voice, changes it into digital packets, and sends it out over the airwaves. The receiver takes those AMBI packets that it has, deciphers them out, and puts analog audio out through your speaker there. You know, that's why it sounds so clear. So anyway, does anybody have any questions thus far on digital stuff? I mean, we could go on forever and ever. And yeah, go ahead.
Hey, first, old school analog guys.
Okay, nothing wrong with that.
You got your digital radio, and now you're going to the internet?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going through the internet. This is a TP link, and it's connected to my Wi-Fi hotspot in my phone. And I can pull up dashboards for any one of these hotspots and see what's going on, see what talk groups are going on, see what the temperature is of it. I mean, everything, the CPU usage. I mean, there's control panels for it. I was going to bring one up on my computer, but one thing with these hotspots, when you take them away from their home of origin, they don't like to recognize anything else for some reason. Probably if I played with it all day, yeah, I could get it to do it, but they like to stay home for some reason, especially with the little Pi Zeros. This little device that came out here is the greatest thing since sliced bread in digital hotspots. This has a Raspberry Pi Zero W in it, a little computer like these, but it's only, I mean, it's like 1 inch by 2 inches. Okay, and it'll do the same thing. It's got USB ports. This has built-in Wi-Fi in it. This is basically a little transceiver, 10 milliwatts. And a lot of you might wonder, well, how far can you talk on that? I could go all the way around the block and get back into this with my HT. That's about a block range with it. They got a little rubber ducky antenna. This has a little display on it, a little OLED display. And what's so nice about this, there's some guys over in the UK. His name's Andy Taylor and Jonathan Naylor. Those two guys, really smart hands, and they made all this stuff possible. It's G4KLX and MMDWOWZ, Andy Taylor. They write code, okay? And they made all this possible with D-Star. Jonathan Naylor's the one that pretty much invented how to use D-Star on hotspots, how to connect everything together. It's all his code that did it. So these guys have been hard at work making our hobby so much more fun. What I mean by that is, just with this little device running Pi-Star, that's Andy Taylor's the author of Pi-Star. It's a computer application to run the hotspot. This got a Pi Zero little computer board and a modem board. That's your transceiver board. So it's the same size as it, and I can take it apart. Yeah, I'll take it apart. I know how hams are. They're curious to what's inside, right? You guys have never taken anything apart, right? No. Yeah. But, yeah, if I can get it apart here. Yeah, yeah, that'll work.
Bigger.
Okay.
With all else said.
First, you know, your Sledgehammer Institute of Technology. What's that you have in your hand again? A Pi?
Yeah, it's the Raspberry Pi Foundation. They make little computers, little boards, and they're not just used for amateur radio. People use them to make robots. A lot of colleges have them in the science department. It's a computer that has a processor, memory. You can hook a HDMI monitor into it. You can hook a keyboard up to it. You can do everything you can. It's not as fast as a laptop with an i5 in it and all that, but you can do all that right with that. It's an absolutely amazing device. And they keep coming out with new ones every year. Yeah.
You got a question from the audience?
Yep. Yes, sir.
How much does those Raspberry Pis run?
Well, they just had a new one come out. It's a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, and it's got lots of onboard memory. It's got a quad-core processor on it and all that. They're about $35. And yeah, you can get these little Pi Zero Ws if I can get this thing apart for $10.
Yeah, what I've been reading is what's nice about those Raspberry Pis, you can get a 7-inch touchscreen that comes with an HDMI adapter, and you can go anywhere with it.
Oh yeah.
Where do you get this?
These are sold. You can get them. I get all my stuff from CanaKit. It's a company in Canada, but you can get them on Amazon, eBay. There's all kinds of distributors. Adafruit sells stuff like this. They're just all.
Quick question is there like a ham store around here you can go look at different parts and such, or is this all internet or mail order?
Everything's. They closed the ham radio stores. The one that was in Orlando. AES, that's closed now. I don't know if there's any electronic stores here at all anymore. I don't think there is.
Closest is Atlanta
Yeah.
6-hour drive.
Close door.
or Miami.
Yeah, AES.
Internet, eBay, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2 or 3 years ago.
If you do a
Okay.
search on Raspberry Pi,
Yeah. I'm sitting here sweating trying to get this little thing.
Okay, let's pretend you didn't, and you did. and
Okay.
You're beyond that. That was interesting.
Yeah, okay. Does everybody know what these look like? No.
Yeah.
Just imagine, just they're just little boards. I mean, just little circuit boards, little computer boards. I'll get it apart later here, and then we can take a look at it. But it's basically what this is, except it's small. Okay, this is a Raspberry Pi 3, and that's a Raspberry Pi 1. They take little SD cards. See that little SD card?
Yeah.
Okay,
Micro, yeah.
that's how you program micro SD cards. And that's how they run. And they run on Linux. Okay, so yeah, or Windows, or about 15 operating systems. Yeah, they'll run on a bunch of different operating systems. But most of the programs we use Linux for amateur radio applications. That's the most popular anyway. But they're amazing devices. They really are.
Most of us here use Echolink. How does it compare to Echolink? Does it do the same thing? Can they crosstalk? What?
Okay, Echolinks, I mean, like everything's got its good points and bad points. Echolink is analog. Okay, with the analog, it's not going to be crisp and clear. But there's a lot of good things for an Echolink. A lot of connectivity. Echolink's been around for a long, long time. I prefer the digital stuff myself. I'm a digital guy. And hey, amateur radio has something for everybody. That's what's so great about the hobby. Some guys might like analog, some guys might like old AM. I mean, there's something for everybody to do. But me, myself, I prefer digital. I talk on Echolink. I've got an Echolink connection and stuff. I know they got one at the repeater here, right? There's Echolink.
yes.
Yeah, okay, so, hey, it's something to have. The more ways we can access each other, the better it is, right? That's what we do. We're in a communications business. So the more ways we can connect and connect the world if there's an emergency, hey, I'm welcome at all. But, these are just a few of the little hot spots that there are. This thing here, this company, I think, went out of business. I'm not too sure what their deal is. The Wireless Holdings. Has anybody heard of Wireless Holdings?
Yes.
Nobody's heard of Wireless Holdings? They were in Naples. I don't know if they're still in business or what. But they were the pioneers of this stuff. They really could have, owned the business. They came out with the DV4 minis, and they just never really supported the products very well for some reason. Their customer support wasn't the greatest. But this little DV4 Home version 2, this little box is amazing. They're pretty expensive, though. You can't even get them anymore. It says out of stock. But that's fun to play with. But anyway, guys, I could sit here and talk all day about it. I know you guys got questions. Anybody want to know anything else about it?
I guess it's fusion and our repeater. How does fusion and our repeater, how you connect to fusion and our repeater?
Okay, very easily. Okay, Chris has his Wires X set up right back here, and it's connected on the internet. He has a Wires X room on the internet, and he has W4GDN, connected. So anybody who has Wires X anywhere in the world can pull that up on their control panel and connect to it. So it doesn't matter.
So if I have a radio that has a fusion capabilities, I still need to connect through internet myself to get to that, or can I go from...
As long as you're in range of the repeater, you can connect through that.
And then from there go out to the rest of the world?
That's one way.
That's if you have a handheld that is Wires X compatible.
Yeah, that says like this.
C4 FM compatible.
C4 FM.
Yeah. This is a FT1D. That's Yaesu's first fusion handheld that they came out with. Of course, they got an FT2D now. They had FT400. They've got an FT70, I think now. But that's a Fusion radio. And Fusion's really nice. The audio sounds really good on Fusion. They got a very wide mode, which is greater bandwidth. It sounds clear. Let me see if I put batteries in it. So much for plugging in batteries, right?
Yep.
But yeah, the Fusion, that's one way to connect to it, through the wires X through the repeater. Now, with these hotspots that are all over the place now, a lot of people have stuff linked, okay, and bridged over. So,
What's
a
the bridge?
friend of mine, Wayne, W4ECZ, he could bridge into here. Somebody in Hong Kong could bridge into here. Everybody can connect together. So it doesn't matter where you're at. You can access with that. You can access with the repeater. So there's multiple ways to connect.
Yeah, no, because I have one of those radios and I managed to, with a DV4 Mini, through my computer, simplex, but I haven't tried to go from my radio into the repeater and then go out.
Okay.
So the computer, like you say, I can find a reflector that is typically UK or Australia or whatever.
Okay.
And
Right.
I can go almost straight, simplex there through my computer.
Right.
But I haven't figured out how can I do it through the repeater yet.
Yeah, it's real easy. Your button should have a DX button on it.
Okay.
You see that? Turn it on. Make sure you're on the right frequency as the repeater. You hold down that DX button, and your radio go doo-doo-doo. It'll say wires X, and you're connected to the wires X. That's if everything goes right. And then you can pull up a room list of all the different rooms. You can look at it right on your display, and there's lots of them.
Got it.
I
Got
mean,
it. So all those reflectors should show up in my radio or should let me know.
yeah, you can pull up the whole list.
And once you get into one of those rooms, it will also show you how many stations are connected into that room.
Right. You can call it that, but you're using radios. You're bulky radios and RF. But yeah, it's like rag chewing. I have on my talk group, the TGIF group guys, DMR, it's bridged all the modes. We do it now on Friday, and there's about 100 check-ins every Friday. So there's a lot of people from all over the world that you have to get into it. But, there's just a lot of connectivity going on. This stuff's still in its infancy. I mean, this is all beta. I mean, pretty much. So it's developing every day. I mean, it's just amazing the technology, what it's become. So, anybody else have any questions? I'm sure somebody's got something to ask. Don't be shy. There's no questions that are.
Right now you're using then your cell phone as your hotspot, correct?
Yep.
You can connect any of those boxes to your computer and then connect your computer to your hotspot too, right?
I can connect through anything. Here, let me disconnect. The hotspot will come back and tell me it's disconnected. Said I'm not linked. I can push in any one of the 1,000 talk groups in here and connect to it worldwide. There's a whole list of them. Connect to Africa, Europe, China. Every state in the U.S. has its own talk group. Every region, Florida has Southeast region, West region. I mean, there's TAC channels. There's interest channels. If you're interested in race cars, they got a talk group. You can go and talk about race cars. If you're interested in sunbathing, I mean, they've got everything. I mean, there's something for everybody. But this right here, P25, that's an old radio here. This radio was actually used by a lot of public service back in the 80s, 90s, even till about 10 years ago. A lot of public service had it. It's P25, APCO 25 is what they call that. And it's a type of digital too. I can get real technical, but I just confuse everybody of the different types of digital and bandwidth, and some's frequency shift keying, and different types of digital and stuff. But a lot of people are getting these things. You know, this radio right here, everybody have any idea how much that cost when it first came out in the 80s?
About $2,500.
Depending on the options, we were paying almost, list price was just shy of $5. But we didn't wind up paying $5, but that was list price with the options that we had up in Maryland.
Yeah. If you get the encrypted board, these things were $5. They've got radios like this now, the new Motorola Apexes, that are $20,000 a radio. Imagine paying that.
Really, it's not a radio per se, it's a computer.
Yeah.
It's software-defined radio is what it is.
Yeah. You can do everything with these. The police department used these. Say, Newport Richie had a new channel or frequency they needed to program in the radio. What would we do? Hook it up to the programming cable and all that? Well, you can program these over the air. Okay, so everybody in the fleet, you can push a couple buttons at the dispatch and program a new frequency in everybody's radio, or program new encryption information.
They don't allow that path going.
Yeah.
They have to go back to radio repair and get the program.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Every county's different. You know,
Yeah.
just depends.
But they're going to the new, they're going to C25.
Right.
Dual digital, I think they call it. It's going to be encrypted too.
Yeah. There's P25 APCO. There's one. There's P25 Phase 2, and now there's P25 Phase 3 that's supposed to be coming out. So, I mean, they're just going up the line with anything. The only digital modes we don't have here, they use in the UK and not, it's kind of like a DMR. What's that called? Tetra. Tetra is used a lot in the UK by public service, but we don't have that here yet. I've never seen anybody or any radios for sale here, but that might come soon. You know, this radio was designed. DMR was for commercial use, and you'll see that when you get into the programming of a lot of these things. And what amateur radio guys do, we're going to figure out how to make it useful for us. I mean, that's what we do as hands. So we adopted, we adhered to the different programmings and made it work on repeaters, made it work on hotspots. A lot of the programming in this has lone worker, emergency. I mean, there's a lot of, different stuff in here that's just used in commercial use. We don't use. So you'll see that in the programming. A lot of the newer radios, they're starting to be more aimed towards ham radio, especially with DMR. But there's a big assortment of radio guides. You can get a little MD380 like this for $80. Okay? How can you go wrong? It's digital. You can still do your analog. Okay, so you can program your repeaters in it. Heck, you're going to spend that for a regular analog radio for a decent one, right? I mean, they're anywhere from $75, $80. You can even get some cheaper at the Chinese. The Chinese taking over everything.
$20.
Yeah, it's $20.
I have fun you can get for 20,
Yeah.
$25.
Oh yeah. And they work. Heck, look at some of the ICOM radio. The Baofeng radio will tell you the time, tell if your battery's low. Heck, ICOM doesn't do that, do they? And you pay a lot more. But there's a big variety, guys. I mean, you can get into something digital, get your little China spot like this. These are $50. You get your radio for $80, and you can be working the world. Now, this is nice because a lot of new hams that are just technicians, before they'd have to wait for 10 meters to open up and all that to get the worldwide experience of talking to people. Now, you can get your technician license, and that's a start, and pick it up and talk to anybody in the world. So it's a good introduction now for new hams, to be able to do it. And then if they want to, get an HF and stuff like that. I still love my HF. I've got a dipole. I've got a 10 Tech Corsair. I've got a Yaesu FT857, and I got a ICOM 746. and I got a Kenwood TS440, and I got a dipole that I put up. And also, I might share this with you guys. I took a lightning hit 2 weeks ago. Destroyed everything in my shack, 75% everything. So, unplug everything. I mean everything. Not just your antennas. Grounds. I thought I had the most elaborate grounding system. Well, guess what? I wish I was. I was uninsured.
I had one that you got 7,000 out plus $1,400.
Yeah. Yeah. If I could afford to have insurance, I would, man. Believe you me. Me and my wife are on limited disability income. It's either pay the light bill or get insurance. I mean, that's what it boils down to. So, I didn't have it, but yeah, it destroyed a lot of my stuff. And thank God, I got an extensive electronics background, so I was able to repair a lot. Okay, I have two 30-foot antennas, ground planes. It didn't even come through there. Came through the power. Okay, came through my grounding system that I thought was going to protect my stuff. Okay, it came through my bus bar that all my radios are connected to. Okay, yeah, it kept the house from catching on fire, but took out every radio. Okay, there is no full protection against lightning, guys. Disconnection is the only way. All right, anybody have any questions on any more digital stuff? Don't be shy. DMR? I know you got a question. Sure you do. No questions? Okay. Did anybody, you guys learn some stuff today? Or? Okay. All right. Well, I'm glad to come here. I mean, I could, get super technical. I know you don't want to hear that because you'll be confused. Believe you me, I confuse myself sometimes with this stuff. But it's a fun thing to do. It's a fun thing to experiment with, and it's a great hobby. So, guys, explore and have fun. That's all I can say.
Thank you.
Yeah, AT. I was an AT. Airedale. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Very interesting.
How's your radio?
Radio?
Way back when it was code.
Okay.
Yeah, back in the day.
Back in the day, huh?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
I got lucky. I never saw a ship. That's right.
I talked to somebody the other day that's.
Well, we have our drawing. Does anybody want to buy another?
If I would have stayed in, it would have been aircraft carrier time. But I was shore duty in the Philippines the whole time. Airedale. Suda's the naval base part of the ship and stuff. I was a Cuban Marine here okay. Yeah, I brought the Filipino gal back with me. We're still married yet. 35 years. Yeah, I love my time.
Okay, the winning ticket, the last three numbers, 205.
What was it, 205?
Maybe
40. Yeah, 40. 82 to 86. Thank you for your service. And let's go.